Well, of course, we all know that immediately after the quake here in Haiti, hospitals and clinics were frankly overwhelmed, those that were still standing. A lot of them were makeshift, overflowing. The injuries were horrific. It was triage 24 hours a day. It's now almost a month later. Tomorrow's the month anniversary, and it's a different scene in Haiti's hospitals, which made us wonder, where have all the injured gone to recover, and how are they getting along? Sanjay Gupta looked into this today. Let's take a look.
What you're looking at is a long line forming outside one of the largest public hospitals in Port-au-Prince. It was nearly 4 weeks after the earthquake, and a couple things you'll notice right away. First of all, the majority of the patients here are not people who were injured in the earthquake. Rather, these are people who have chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, who are seeing a doctor perhaps for the very first time, some of them in their entire lives. The other thing you'll notice is that things are much more organized than they were a few weeks ago. Compare that to just 2 weeks ago. Here you see mainly quake survivors, patients who were dramatically injured, requiring amputations. There was a lack of organization. There was a lack of supplies. Certainly things have improved in a very big way. You may be wondering, like I was, what happens to so many of those patients? Well, you're looking at it. Many of them end up here in what is supposed to be a temporary tent city. Just take a look around. I mean, this is the conditions in which people are supposed to recover from major operations. I can tell you, back in the States, patients would be getting all sorts of different treatments. They might still be in the hospital. They would be getting dressing changes. But instead, you're forced to recover in conditions like this. It is dirty, there's a lack of medications, and there's a lack of food as well, lack of good nutrition. And there's something else here that people are really worried about. It's rainy season. We saw our first rain this week in a month. And with rain comes all sorts of potential infectious diseases. The World Health Organization says the incidence of measles goes up, the incidence of tetanus, and the incidence of diarrhea as well. But I mean, just take a look at this. I mean, rainy season is pretty tough here. Imagine living in this. This is somebody's home in the middle of rainy season. Instead, they opt for structures like this, corrugated tin, to try and protect them. It's not to say that people aren't trying to help. In fact, mobile clinics are going out into these tent cities, trying to give vaccines in a country that has not seen nearly enough vaccines in the future. But this is it. People are trying to recover in a temporary tent city that I can tell you is increasingly becoming more permanent.
So when they're released from the hospital, I mean, are they given bandages to change their, you know, to change?
I saw this firsthand. I saw people are given these papers saying you should change your dressings so and so often. You should pick up these medications. The problem is there's absolutely nowhere to get these medications or these supplies. So, and by the way, it was really astonishing to me. A lot of these discharge instructions were in English. They couldn't read the instructions themselves. We were walking around and, you know, we were translating them for them. It didn't matter, though, because they couldn't get the supplies anyway.
Right, it's not like there's pharmacies and things or that people have money to buy.
That's right, and that's the thing, Anderson. You know, we came back this week, you know, the first couple of weeks, I think there was such an acute phase of needs of people. But I really come to realize that unless the sort of longer-term needs are addressed, the immediate stuff becomes less meaningful. I mean, because, you know, it doesn't, if the people get infections afterward, even after a really great operation, they get an infection and makes them really sick or even die, it really takes away the value of that immediate.
Why do you think they're not giving out, you know, bandages? Or I guess on one hand, they're probably worried that people will go out and sell them, or they'll become sort of a black market because people need to make money some way or the other. And if somebody has medication, maybe they would sell it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to one of the doctors about that. I said, why not just give them the pills and the dressings? They said, well, we hope that they come back to get that so we can keep monitoring them. The problem is they're living out here and they're not getting back, so they need to get that.
And there's going to be fewer and fewer doctors to be monitoring more and more patients. So it's going to be hard. All right, Sanjay, thanks for the update.